Bliet. Let's all right, let's do this. Come on. Let's start. Oh, we're on YouTube now. Hype. I can use my arrow keys and shit. All right, cool. Rapture. All right, now people are trolling me. I've got people typing. Oh my god. The name is Rapture.
We're about to find out here on King's Row with my man Kenobi. Thank you all for tuning in. And by the way, the team names in-game will still be swapped on Fortunato, but we will have the proper names up above, so don't get confused. I might, but I'll get confused.
But we have the tech, so Samsung Blue is back on. So we have the technology now.
Do we? So, okay. All right. I see. I can't keep up with technology these days, you know?
It just moves so fast.
It's so fast every year. It's, you know, and I'm trying to keep up with.
Just a minor thing. Kenobi, I'm not sure what mic you're using. I guess Rapture might be the one hosting this. I'm not sure either way. A little bit fuzzy to hear. Sounds pretty comfortable already though. Rapture sounds pretty comfortable talking. So,
you know, so what like, iPhone are we on now? Like X, right? X.
I think it's like iPhone like 10, 11, 12. I'm on iPhone 5 still, man.
I think it's iPhone X.
I'm all about the retro phone.
That's a decent phone.
Retro iPhone life.
Okay, so I don't mind this discussion at all, guys. Prior to the game, volume up a bit, please. I don't know if it goes any higher, fam. Bam. I've got everything maxed out for you. I can't do much more than that, unfortunately. Right. Cool. So, yeah, I don't mind this discussion pre-game, guys, as long as I get a little bit of a breakdown of the defensive composition. That would be good.
Yeah.
All right, well, here we go. Going into it. So, yeah, so it looks like Northern Lights is still in the red, technically. But it will say Samsung Morningstar's blue in-game. So,
okay, that's fine.
You know,
so Northern Lights are red, but it'll be the lobby settings, I suppose.
Nonetheless, these teams seem like they're kind of coagulating towards the compositions they are going to run on defense.
I like that word. I like coagulating.
Blue. They are
coalescing, coagulating.
Defensive dive.
Yeah, it's a defensive dive. Okay, so you know normally teams are kind of just run like maybe the.
So I see that Rapture is the play-by-play caster here, so I'm interested to see maybe what Kenobi offers in terms of his breakdown of this team comp. I mean, either is fine. It's just like what I expect based on role.
Dual tank with like Bree and like the Brigitte, and kind of just one DPS, but they're going for the one DPS but with the dive composition. Pretty interesting.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's semi-heavy-handed for a play-by-play to cover a lot of the breakdown of the team comps, but it's all right.
From the offensive team here, we're gonna see the pharmacy. So Ferry back on that comfort pick basically. Loves this fair, loves the farm. See if it can do a little bit more damage than it was doing on Volskaya.
I would say that is enough. Her name is Bree. I'll say it. I don't care. Because honestly, now you're making me good for some cheese and crackers. That would be so good right now. Cheese and grapes. 3 minutes 35 seconds here already, and we're getting close to that first tick here for Northern Lights. They're going on a little bit aggressively, but they're feeling the pushback. Dance gets rid of Zekor, cuts him right down.
All right, so up until that point, this is like super non-specific, and you open up with like a cheese joke, which is fine. But I think like there's definitely space for a little bit of a lead into this fight. I think. I mean, you guys kind of talk about a comp. We hear about like Casper being comfortable on the Pharah.
One DPS, but with the dive composition. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, and coming out from the offensive team here, we're gonna see the pharmacy. So Ferry back on that comfort pick basically.
Okay.
Loves this fair, loves the farm.
Right.
See if it can do.
But how does it like? Okay, so I'd like to know like, if you're discussing this conversation, I want to know how it interacts. How it interacts with what Samsung are doing. Like how this composition sort of meshes against theirs. Is this a good pick? Like, is there much counterplay there? It's like a defensive dive comp.
Do a little bit more damage than it was doing on Volskaya.
I mean, I don't mind a comparison to Volskaya or how it performed there. Bit of a break here, which is fine. I don't mind a little bit of dead air.
I would say that is enough. Her name is Bree. I'll say it. I don't care. Because honestly, now you're making me good for some cheese and crackers. That would be.
All right, like you guys might be okay. So I always have to be careful when I come into broadcasts like this if there's like a pre-existing style or like atmosphere to the broadcast. Personally, if I come into watching this and I'm like, if I'm analyzing this, like, I don't love this. I get the joke, like the Bree joke, right? But like, it's not amazing.
Her name is Bree. I'll say it. I don't care. Because honestly, now you're making me good for some cheese and crackers. That would be so good right now. Cheese and grapes. 3 minutes 35 seconds.
Okay, so like you're reeling the time off to me 25 seconds in, which is is maybe not. It's not relevant right now. I would say the first thing you say, I guess, about what's happening on screen is the time when the rounds just started. So maybe not where we want to open. Just a reminder to chat as well, guys. This isn't. We're not trying to shit on anyone here. I'd appreciate, everyone is encouraging. We're all learning here together. But I am, going to point out some stuff that I personally am not happy with. It again. You take that with a grain of salt.
Her name is Bree. I'll say it. I don't care.
Or however, you take it as far as you'd like to.
Because, honestly, now you're making me good for
So let's listen to the play-by-play when the play-by-play actually starts happening.
3 minutes,
Look, in all fairness, there's no picks yet.
Already, and we're getting close to that first tick here for Northern Lights. They're going on a little bit aggressively, but they're feeling the pushback. Dance gets rid of Zekor, cuts him right down. Now, Luff has a number on their phone here, but it's only 6 digits, so that's not going to go through there. Sorry, man, you got left the bar. Leo's going to cut him down. Big one on Latex, gets one, and that Riverboat kind of left a little bit unhindered off the point. You're going to go into hotel, try and check.
Let's go back. I don't know what the phone joke was.
They're going on a little bit aggressively, but they're feeling the pushback. Dance gets rid of Zekor.
So the review thing's not updated.
Cuts him right down. Now, Luff has a number on their phone here, but it's only 6 digits, so that's not going to go through there. Sorry, man, you got left the bar. Leo's going to cut him down. Big one on Latex, gets one, and that Riverboat kind of left a little bit unhindered off the point. You're going to go into hotel, try and check in early, but doesn't have enough time to do that. Pops right back out here. Room's not ready. Has the Mercy in their pocket here.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were yeah, it could be the telephone box. That's fine, I think. This wordplay is okay for me. It's just like how much of it and what balance of wordplay there actually is. I kind of like that you sort of talk about like that, like you used a positional reference there. Like we had a couple of like this guy onto this guy kills this guy, which could be construed as kill feed really. I'm not accusing you of that necessarily here. But then at least you sort of, what I like is that you sort of say, you refer to Riverboat's positioning here and maybe sort of what he's trying to do, but you kind of diminish any chance to sort of highlight his positioning strategically or what he's trying to achieve by that, by telling us he's trying to check in. And then you go for a second stab at the joke after that. I would say one is sufficient. It's just lacking a little bit of that intellectual, I guess, approach here in terms of like why Hans is trying to flank
a little bit unhindered off the point. You're going to go into hotel, try and check in early, but doesn't have enough time to do that. Pops.
Yeah, like, so what's he doing in the hotel? Like, why is he positioned there? Is maybe interesting. Maybe there's more substance in discussing that.
Right back out here. Room's not ready. Has the Mercy in their pocket here. And with Kaspira raining shots down from above, they pretty much have full dominance for Northern Lights. Even Latex getting on the board with the kill on the Dance. And Samsung Morningstar's Blue might have to relinquish here.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to relinquish. Left's going to definitely go down right now very quickly, so that's going to probably be the point for them. Kasperi definitely bringing prominence to this fair that we didn't see happen on Volskaya, doing so much damage. Has that barrage already.
So we consider this to be sort of a breakdown, right? And a breakdown of team fight.
Very quickly.
Let me just go back to it.
Northern Lights. Even Latex getting on the board.
So I think the second half, the play there is fine.
Kill on the Dance, and Samsung Morningstar's Blue might have to relinquish here.
Yeah, I also like the use of the word relinquish there. I mean, that's fine. I don't love that it's being repeated back. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna have to relinquish. Or something I brought out last night as well, is that you don't have to repeat what your other caster is saying. I'd prefer that, like, you don't even necessarily need to acknowledge it to a great degree. Just sort of move on with it. Now let's listen to the breakdown here. Perhaps because the problem with this fight, I mean, it's not a problem. It could be a stylistic decision, and then that's sort of fine. But a lot of this fight was sort of spent with like, we didn't go very deep. This is like, yeah, not enough cunts being said, Cuss. You're exactly right. It's a little bit shallow in terms of like content as like what's actually happening, the strategic part of it. More maybe geared to an entertainment angle, given sort of some of the jokes that we used. Anyway.
From above, they pretty much have full dominance for Northern Lights. Even Latex getting on the board with the kill on the Dance, and Samsung Morningstar's Blue might have to relinquish here.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to relinquish.
Left's going to go down.
Yeah. So that's going to probably be the point for them. Kasperi.
I mean, so you kind of repeat yourself there. It's going to be the point for them.
Definitely.
I mean, and a point for who? You say left is going down, but you're saying that's going to be the point for them. So you need to be a little bit more specific there, because the last person you talked about is a defending player that's definitely going to get the point.
Bringing prominence to this fair that we didn't see happen on Volskaya, doing so much damage. Has that barrage already. And just look at the ult economy here for the side of Team Northern Lights. So many ultimate almost online for them, about to have a 6-bag. Yeah,
okay, so like, I mean, I don't mind the references to like the ult economy or the alt percentages there. You talk about the prominence of this Farah pick, more prominent than it was in Volskaya, but you don't tell me anything more about it. You just say, again, it's kind of thing like, oh, this is really good. And then someone asks you, why, what's so good about it? And then you respond, oh, this is really good. So still looking for, I think the C-word command is kind of busted now because I've got like Moobot and Stream Elements both sort of doing it. I don't think Stream Elements tracks the usage of it. I've got to sort of fix that up. The problem is I'm using a bunch of different chatbots. So. All right. Uber looking at chat, and well, I mean, that's the only way I can look at it, right? It's not awkwardly. I mean, I'm interacting with you, so. Speed it up. You don't need to explain what's wrong in such detail. I think both of us and commentaries get what's wrong watching you back with your faster comments. I appreciate that, Wonder, but I think I'm going to keep reviewing in the same way that I always have. I will treat your request as a suggestion, and I will continue doing it the way I've been doing. If you don't like the pace of it, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, they've been working out here. They've got those abs. They got the six-pack about to go. Latex, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's a joke referring to the alt percentage, I suppose.
Almost online for them, about to have a six-pack.
Yeah, they've been working out here. They've got those abs. They got the six-pack about to go. Latex, though, with an Earth Shatter. And almost over.
And Earth Shatter doing what? What does the Earth Shatter do? Like, is it?
Eat away at the distance that Samsung Moisture Blue, Stars Blue can cover here. They're gonna have to be pushed back though by the Dragon Strike. Yeah, they're not gonna contest that. So, Latex might actually not get out in time. Yeah, his shield was low and he was just hopping away.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Here's the Dragon Surge combination. But the Transcendence comes out just in time by Dance. So
okay.
It keeps everyone alive throughout the entirety of that ultimate combination. The defense, though, now without hesitation, going to push him onto the payload, so it's not going to get that much closer to the second checkpoint.
All right, let's go back a bit. I thought the play-by-play was fine. I'm a little bit iffy on this part of it.
Yeah, they've been working.
They've been working. Yeah, look, come on, like we've got a fight happening here. Ultimates are being used. This is maybe the time just to try and give us more of an overarching view of the situation.
Yeah, they've got those abs.
They've got those abs. They've got the six-pack. Like, is that a good Earth Shatter? Like, you know, wow, it's a. You could even just say, oh, that's a, you know. Yeah, I think you say it's overkill.
Shatter,
do you say it's overkill?
And almost overkill at this point here.
Yeah, I mean, you could sort of say why that seems like it's almost overkill. Like, an Earth Shatter for one player. He's gone to a great extent to try and, you know, shut down the Zarya or something similar.
But they're just trying to eat away at the distance that Samsung Moisture Blue, Stars Blue can cover here. They're going to have to be pushed back, though, by the Dragon Strike. Yeah, they're not going to contest that. So, Latex might actually not get out in time.
If you ever get to a point where you're commentating like, oh, I guess they're going to have to back up. So, you probably could throw it to your Kalacaster there or not, or try to just keep a fairly strong flow because it seems like you're a little bit behind the 8-ball a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, his shield was low and he was just hopping away. Line Pro batters him, and then here's the Dragon Surge combination. But the Transcendence comes out just in time by Dance, so it keeps everyone alive throughout the entire.
That's good, and then you sort of that's good play-by-play as far as I'm concerned.
That ultimate combination. The defense, though, now without hesitation, going to push him onto the payload, so it's not going to get that much closer to the second checkpoint.
And that's why alt tracking in this game is such an important.
Wow, I feel like I'm about to get a good point from color casting here.
The defense, though, now without hesitation, going to push him onto the payload, so it's not going to get that much closer to the second checkpoint.
And that's why alt tracking in this game is such an important, an important thing that we don't really talk about too much. But Dance there.
Why is it
ready? And unfortunately for the side of Team Lights, you should know that he has it, and you can't just throw out that Dragon Strike combo if you don't have the ultimate with the Transcendence, because it's not going to be able to do anything. He's just going to be able to heal through it. So really good play there coming out from Dance to stop all of that damage, because that was a fat graviton.
The point is correct, and I think like the way you voice it is okay. A little bit long-winded. Maybe you could sort of tighten it up a little bit more, because obviously there's like this is an important fight because the defenders tried to hold forward and lost the fight, right? So this to me is probably the most important fight, except for the first one that we've seen so far in this attack. Definitely would be good for play-by-play to sort of maybe be a bit more present here. You don't have to play-by-play every fight just because there's a team fight. Something me and Matt really try and do. Rapture and Kenobi are the two guys I'm casting. Yeah, you don't have to cast every fight. You want to try and find out if it's important. I would consider this one to be fairly important because the defenders are getting aggressive on their defense. and they're trying to push forward and use the choke, and it doesn't work. So for me, this is like a mild shift in momentum. And it's definitely a chance to shift gear in terms of the intensity or the excitement that you're trying to add to the broadcast.
Too much, but Dance there had that ultimate, had that transcendence ready, and unfortunately for the side of Team Lights, you should know that he has.
So that fight, like Dragon Eddie getting picked up by the Fire Strike, there's a res here which is also represents a swing in the fight, and Samsung are committing to this fight with a sound barrier now. So this is where I definitely would like the play-by-play to sort of be more present.
Combo, if you don't have the ultimate.
The point is good. The point is good, Kenobi. I just think it's delivered in a somewhat long-winded fashion, and the timing isn't great. The timing's not great. If you sort of see that defenders are about to start another fight early, you might want to try and get out. I agree with like the ult tracking is important. So there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. It's just when.
Transcendence, because it's not going to be able to do anything. He's just going to be able to heal through it. So really good play there coming out from Dance to stop all of that damage.
Credit to Rapture, because he doesn't cut over you at all here. I like that he gives you the rune despite a fight happening.
That was a fat graviton.
And that sound barrier from Ginny, not enough to keep the team alive. And it will be the Transcendence coming out from Dance that comes out on top. So a nice pick from them. Yeah,
I understand that Rapture, you sort of have to wrap up the fight as a play-by-play caster, but we miss... this is a great opportunity to tell people like what the defenders were trying to achieve there. You obviously want to keep on your mind the objective of both teams and what they're trying to do, and like what opportunities they're trying to create, and or when they're trying to take advantage of like an opening or something like that. So your recap of the fight is pretty bare bones, because you mentioned the fact that there was a sound barrier used that wasn't sufficient, which is correct. I agree. You sort of mentioned that there was a transcendence used there as well. It might be worth saying that, Dragon Eddie was dead before they could actually use a sound barrier. The Transcendence definitely shut that down. So there's a lot more room here. And in a world where you... so I need to change my command, guys. Yeah. I will fix it. I'm flying solo tonight, so that's why. I'll fix it in a bit. It's the Rapture and Kenobi. Oh, hold on. Give me a sec. Misha, you have mod power now, so if you know how to change it, you can change it. Otherwise, don't worry, you can stay mod.
3 minutes and 48 seconds up on the clock as Leo picks up big one, and that payload now moving through towards that last.
I like that you refer to the time here. This is a good time to. I mentioned the time that's left in the round now, as opposed to right at the start.
Corner of the second phase of King's Row. We're gonna be moving on, and right now the defense just biding their time, waiting for that last engagement on the second checkpoint, waiting until everyone gets back. They get in position here. Luft is about to get the Earth Shatter, but the Dragon
nice.
force them towards that right side corridor. Someone has
to go
and touch it.
Yeah, dude, I love that you give me more than the Dragon Strike forces them away. You give me the Dragon Strike forces them to the right side corridor, which is great. Because the viewer might not be looking at that one, and I really love that you're using a reference, that's relative to the position of the payload, or at least like give a map reference so people know where this is actually happening, or excuse me, or how that's happening.
Just in time, Luft gets there. 1.23 meters remaining. Has the Earth Shatter, kind of jockeying in position for it. Line Pro goes to the charge.
I might have to make your stream elements
Strike,
mod.
Though, is gonna come right in, not using the Earth Shatter still, waiting on it and waiting on it. Big one gets a Stormbow. There it is, Earth Shatter. It only finds Latex.
Yes,
but
good.
The Fire Strike will get the kill. And they burn 2 ultimates. They do get, not too many kills off them, but it's just enough to win the point. And
yeah, that's really good. We'll have a look at that play-by-play in a little bit more detail.
Get the Earth Shatter, but the Dragon Strikes, they force them towards that right side corridor. Someone has to go and touch it just in time.
Touch the payload, I guess, try and be a little bit more specific there.
1.23 meters remaining. Has the Earth Shatter, kind of jockeying in position.
I mean, yeah, again, a reference to how close the payload is to the point in meters. Doesn't have a lot of intuitive value here. The viewer can see it's very close. You can just say like it is very close. I think you don't need to be as specific.
The Earth Shatter still 1.23 meters remaining. Has the Earth Shatter, kind of jockeying in position for it.
Yeah.
Line Pro goes to the charge, but they don't get it. Dragon Strike though is going to come right in, not using.
Yeah, again, Line Pro goes for the charge, but they don't get it. He doesn't get the charge, or they don't get something else. You probably just want to say, someone goes for the charge, Line Pro goes for the charge, but he doesn't connect it. They're a little bit more specific there, especially if someone's, really tuned into what you're saying.
using the Earth Shatter still, waiting on it and waiting on it. Big one gets a Stormbow. There it is, Earth Shatter. It only finds Latex,
Yeah.
but the Fire Strike will get the kill. And they burn 2 ultimates. They do get, not too many kills off them, but
Who burns 2 ultimates? Who gets the kills? I assume you're referring to the defenders here.
Big one gets a Stormbow. There it is, Earth Shatter. It only finds Latex, but the Fire Strike will get the kill.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, yeah. I'm not really. You missed the cap. I suppose you refer to it eventually.
Is gonna come right in, not
it's hard to. I don't hear a sound cue for that as well. But yeah, they C9 slightly.
1.23 meters remaining. Has the Earth Shatter kind of jockeying in position for it. Line Pro goes to the charge, but they don't get it. Dragon Strike though is gonna come right in, not using the Earth Shatter still, waiting on it and waiting on it. Big one gets a Stormbow.
Yeah, you do miss that. Yeah, in situations like this, you want to really keep your eyes on this indicator. You miss the point being cap, which does happen. Happens even at the top level where they're watchcasters, because it can be really hard to pick out sometimes. There's not always a tone or a sound that you can hear above the sounds of the players. So it's not really a big deal. But you want to try and look for it, right?
There it is, Earth Shatter. It only finds Latex, but the Fire Strike will get the kill. And
so hopefully Kenobi picks up on that. We'll see.
Not too many kills off them, but just enough to win the point and win the checkpoint. Defense will hold on with just a point, just like millimeters away.
And this is like the worst part. This is probably the worst place to get stalled at, because you have to walk
oh, they didn't cap, sorry. Ah, I see.
But the Fire Strike will get the kill. And they burn 2 ultimates. They do get, not too many kills.
That confused me as well, so that's fair enough.
Just enough to win the point and win the checkpoint. Defense will hold on with just a point, just like millimeters.
Yeah, I mean, like the indicator says it caps, so fair enough, they didn't cap. There you go.
The worst part. This is probably the worst place to get stalled at, because you have to walk so
very
far,
weird,
and you're gonna get zoned off so much by the defensive team.
But you're casting, like you're using the correct assumption, and when you're casting this, so that's fine. Oh, thank you for the sub, Sarah V. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the support.
Get to that
big love
there.
and welcome.
So unfortunate that they weren't able to just push it over that line. So they're gonna have to regroup here for the side of Team Northern Lights. They do have the Graviton ready. So
something I'm really happy about here is that Kenobi talked about what it's like to play from this position now as the defenders, right? It's probably You talked about it's kind of the worst to play from this position, right?
Just like millimeters away.
And this is like the worst part. This is probably the worst place to get stalled at, because you
have
to walk
as attackers
so far, and you're gonna get zoned off so much by the defensive team to get to that payload there. So unfortunate that they weren't able to just push it over that line. So they're gonna have to regroup here for the side of Team Northern Lights. They do have the Graviton ready. They don't have that Galactic Dragon Dragon Surge combo that we usually see, but they do have the Barrage that they could use.
They're trying. Oh wow, a very far barrage from Kaspirabies gets in just in time for Dragon Eddy to get cut down. It's surprising he didn't get really picked off there either.
Okay. Obviously, that is one of those classic fights in which stuff happens really quickly, and you can't do much about it. But you lost a lot of tempo at the start of the fight. I assume that you're a little bit confused by what happened. I am too. So that's fine. A far barrage. Yeah, we'll get into the nitty gritty of it in just a second.
Graviton ready. They don't
Graviton
have that
ready.
Galactic Dragon Crown.
Again, who doesn't have it? You probably just need to be a little bit clearer and say that Northern Lights don't have a Dragon Strike ready.
Dragon Surge combo that we usually see, but they do have the Barrage.
They do have the Barrage that they could use.
They're trying. Oh wow, a very far barrage from Kaspirabies
I wouldn't say that's very far at all, man. That's. I mean.
Dragon Surge
as a matter of opinion.
That we usually see, but they do have the Barrage that they could use.
They're trying. Oh wow, a very far barrage from Kaspirabies gets in just in time for Dragon Eddy to get cut down. It's surprising to get.
Avoid that as well. Umming and ahhing is probably not good. Thank you very much, Bushi. Appreciate it. Yeah, ums and ahs. Want to avoid them.
Not really picked off there either. But big one will finally get just desserts. Oh, and Earth Shatter. Riverboat gets the kill on the line pro, and then Leo scoops up the second knockdown. Exarath also gets on the board. It's been a little bit of quiet.
Wow, the Dragon Strike.
Here, but Exarath not going to be outdone. Gets 2, and that payload will find the second checkpoint.
Yeah, good recovery, Rapture. Poor start, and you lost a lot of airspace.
It's surprising to get.
So I mean, R-ing, yeah, avoid it.
Oh, they're trying. Oh wow, a very far barrage from Kaspirabi's gets in just in time
Just
for
in
Dragon
time
Eddie to get cut
for
down.
Dragon Eddie to get cut down.
Yeah, it's surprising he didn't get really picked off there either.
Surprising he didn't
Big
get picked
one
off.
will
Yeah.
finally get just desserts. Oh, an Earth Shatter.
There's probably more, happening in the fight than that.
Riverboat gets the kill on the line prone. That Leo scoops up the second knockdown. Extrath also gets on the board. It's been a little quiet here, but Extrath not going to be outdone.
Okay, outside of the stutters, that was fine. I thought.
2, and that payload.
The recovery is a little bit weak. I don't know what you were sort of
it's a
focusing. Again, it's all about what you focus on in the team fights. There, you're sort of talking about like you're surprised that the Pharaoh didn't die, but we're still mid-fight. Things are still happening, and you probably just need to save your reactions or your personal reactions or anecdotes until after the team fight, ideally. Try and stay on the horse, stay on the horse.
Not really the cleanest ultimate combo there with the Graviton and the Farah Barrage.
Yeah, why? Why is it not clean?
Farah was just a little bit too far away. And there was
Okay,
also
so maybe, see, the Pharaoh was a little bit too far away. I think that's reasonable. There was also a Transcendence there, right, from Dance. So. Uber, is your sub alert really Mr. X Dancing? Yeah, it's Mr. X Dancing. It's pretty great. I want to make it bigger. But I have to focus on that to make it bigger. So yeah, the problem is if I make the sub alert bigger, the follow alert is also bigger, and I'm very lucky that I am getting a lot of those follows. So like we're losing a lot of screen space. So
that walkway, they're blocking a lot of the rockets, but they managed to get the couple of kills they needed to push this further. And now they have a Dragon Strike ready, and they don't have the Graviton just yet, but they might just use it here.
No Dragon Strike waiting. A Graviton, though, they're going to use Luft's Earth Shatter. He goes right into their face and Earth Shatters them, though. The hammer is really going to bludgeon some nails out here. Now a Dragon Strike coming through right onto the payload. Extrath finds line pros. They try to get out of dodge. And Zekro will get the res into Leo. Both teams trading kind of evenly here. Luft, though, swinging away on Latex. So there's the bubble on them. Has to be careful. Leo trying to get supercharged, but only able to maintain about a 15% right now, so not getting too many dividends off that. There's the charge in, trying to get rid of Luft though as they find themselves in the backup.
There it is!
Trying to help out Latex, but Latex can't get out in time. And they get the fall back here.
Matt, you
Blue, pushing up hard. The offense of Northern Lights scrambling for some more kills here. Just trying to keep the rise alive.
all right, sorry, I missed a lot of the broadcast there. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, thanks for the sub. All right, I'm gonna dig into this play-by-play of this fight again because it's okay, but
Hammers.
Yeah, but they might just use.
All right, so let's see how this fight starts.
There's also that walkway, they're blocking a lot of the rockets, but they managed to get the couple of kills they needed to push this further. And now they have a Dragon Strike ready.
They have a Dragon Strike ready.
They don't have the Graviton just yet, but they might just use it here.
They might just use it here. I mean, they do use it here. So again, try and just like be current and not be like speculative while something's still happening.
No Dragon Strike waiting.
Dragon Strike waiting. Okay, so I appreciate that, like you're building off, you're sort of. So you see the Graviton being used, and you say that there's a Dragon Strike waiting. It is waiting. It's from the other team, though. That's kind of the weird part about this. So you're kind of still stuck on maybe a narrative, or I'm not sure if you. Oh, it is Dragon Eddie's. Yeah, what happens here? Sorry.
They needed to push this further, and now they have a Dragon Strike.
They have a
ready,
Dragon Strike.
They don't have the Graviton just yet, but they
All
might
right.
just use it here.
All right, so they have the Graviton.
Dragon Strike waiting.
Oh, it's not waiting. It's not there. So yeah, you're missing a lot here.
A Graviton, though, they're going to use Luft's Earth Shatter. He goes right into
They're going to use Luft's Earth Shatter.
A Dragon Strike ready, and they don't have the Graviton just yet, but they might just use it here.
No Dragon Strike.
I mean, you're missing. You probably should point out there's a Transcendence. This is the first thing you should probably say, like Graviton into Transcendence here, and there is an Earth Shatter. I see it just happening now. So they use Luft's Earth Shatter.
A Graviton, though, they're going to use Luft's Earth Shatter. He goes right into their face.
I mean, there's not a lot of value in he goes right into their face. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me anything really at all.
And Earth Shatters them, though. The hammer is really going to bludgeon some nails out here. Now a Dragon Strike coming through right.
I don't mind the hammer analogy. It's a little bit weak, but it's okay.
Into the payload. Extrath finds line pros. They try to get out of dodge. and Zekro will get the res into Leo. Both teams trading kind of evenly here. Lufto swinging away on Latex, so has the bubble on them. Has to be careful. Leo trying to get supercharged, but only able to maintain about 15% right now, so not getting too many dividends off that. There's the charge in, trying to get rid of Lufto as they find themselves in the backup pocket, trying to help out Latex. Latex can't get out in time, and now they have to fall back here. Samsung Morningstar's blue pushing up hard. The offense of Northern.
You remind me a bit of Achilles as a caster, not, and you know, in a good way. I think like this team fight casting is fine.
Be careful, Leo trying to get supercharged.
Yeah, trying to get supercharged.
Maintain about 15% right now, so not getting too many
Charge
off
in,
that. There's
love knockdown,
trying to
transcendence.
get rid of Lufto as they find themselves in the backup
Latex.
pocket, trying to help out Latex. Latex can't get out.
All right, so that Earth Shatter is something that you want to mention pretty much straight away. You want to do it. Yeah, so that Earth Shatter is. Thanks for the sub, your boy Pico. Woo, let's go. Yeah, that Earth Shatter probably bears mentioning here.
15% right now, so not getting
Charge
too
in
many
into a
dividends off that.
transcendence.
There's the charge in, trying to get rid of.
So I want to hear about the transcendence. Earth Shatter doesn't connect.
Latex can't get out in time, and now they have to fall back here. Samsung Morningstar's blue pushing up hard. The offense of Northern Lights scrambling for some more kills here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whoa,
that's a huge turn.
Kill.
Cool, and like you kind of go up a level here when the swing comes.
Goes in and capitalizes with the Dragon Strike. They've cut off Dance with the rest of the team.
Casper's in the back line. He's trying to flank.
Alive. And Line Pro. Line Pro gets shut down. Najee cannot get there in time, and now he's separated from the team. He's gonna get staggered.
Okay, separated from the rest of the team. Slow it down a little bit there, or at least just that word. The rest of the casting I can understand fine.
Now Kenobi, it's not looking good here. Northern Lights gets a bunch of kills and going in forward.
Oh, well, I like this. I like to use his name. I like this is the time that you throw. This is a great time to throw to the color caster. All things considered, this has been quite good casting in general.
Yeah, they're just playing some vanilla Overwatch right now. This pharmacy combo, a combo.
Who's playing vanilla Overwatch? I guess Northern Lights. If that's that's fine. If you just mentioned Northern Lights.
That has stood the test of time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Pico. Thank you.
Has been out, and it looks like it's worked great so far. Graviton comes up, only gets one with the Fair Barrage. Not actually getting much. Gets slept.
Who gets slept? Okay, it's a weird time to throw there as well because you sort of end on an exclamation. So Rapture might not be ready to cover there. I think your play-by-play here is fine though.
Has been out, and it looks like it's worked great so far. Graviton comes up, only gets one with the Fair Barrage. Not actually getting much. Gets slept.
Gets slept.
Ooh, that was.
Yeah, see that's not a good cadence on which to throw, in my opinion. I don't think you made it clear. If you're gonna do if you could just say get slept, Rapture, and then he knows, and then you don't have that dead air. Dead air is fine, not right now, not right now in a final fight. That oh man, you lose a lot of momentum if you have dead air in a final fight like this. It's something you want to avoid doing.
Absolutely. Oh, he gets knocked off.
Great so far. Graviton comes up, only gets one with the Fair Barrage. Not actually getting much. Gets slept.
All right.
Ooh, that was absolutely. Oh, he gets knocked off.
Yeah. So what were you trying to say? That was absolutely, and then you cut yourself off because someone got knocked off, which I think is relevant, but you derail your point there.
Dragon Eddie gets pulsed off with the right click from the Zarya onto Latex. Latex dives and dips into that hole there. Now Leo knows. Leo with 3 huge.
Yeah, you cut yourself off again there, I think.
Dragon Eddie gets pulsed off.
What's up, Maliot?
Right
good, bro.
From the
More VOD
Zarya
reviews.
onto Latex dives and dips into that hole there. Now
dives
Leo
and dips
knows.
into that
Leo
hole.
With 3
Now Leo.
huge. And that was off the 1 kill off Latex. Converts into another 3 kills. Leo going off right there with the Zarya as everyone else is focused on the remainder of the team. And Northern Lights picks up 3 points.
Yeah, Leo there.
Yeah, so the team fight was okay. Your flow is you're interrupting yourself here. It's clear that you don't have a shortage of things to talk about, but your flow keeps getting broken up, and it's gonna be the difference between you being good and great, in my opinion. All things considered, I think that was fairly good so far. Obviously, we're going to look at some more.
Showing that, proving his dominance there of who's the better.
And you can't catch everything, so that's fine.
Coming out from this team, coming out from Northern Lights there at the end.
What do I think the caster totally missed? Oh. In that fight, it's tough because I'm sort of listening harder than I'm watching.
great so
Okay.
far. Graviton comes
Graviton.
up, only gets one with the fair barrage.
I mean, the Reinhardt charge is pretty important there.
Not actually getting much. Gets
Like, charging here as Reinhardt is super risky.
left.
Transcendence. The sound barrier,
That was
Transcendence being
absolutely-
used
oh,
here.
he gets knocked off. Dragon Eddy gets pulsed
And
off.
very important, Resurrect onto the Hanzo.
With the right click from the Zarya onto Latex. Latex dives and dips into that hole there. Now Leo knows. Leo with 3,
Yeah,
huge.
didn't miss too much.
And that was off the 1 kill off Latex. Converts into another 3 kills.
I usually like acknowledging when those ultimates are being used. Like in that case like that, I'm gonna be like, you know, Transcendence being used here. Like Transcendence coming out from who used it? Exarath. Much needed healing available to the Northern Lights in a very important fight. They can get more aggressive. They can be more reckless or something like that. I usually just try and highlight them. I think this is okay. Yeah, I think like I might have done it differently, but I don't necessarily think it's bad. When so many things happen at the same time, how do you choose what to mention, what to ignore? You need to build a mental hierarchy, Gizmo 181, of the most important things. Or it has got to be your opinion, and this is where your own style comes in. But the most important things, the things that you think that are really deciding the way that the fight goes, and you need to deliver them in that kind of order, or try and use your vocal and dynamic range to sort of express the importance of those things. Different people will come up with different sort of things. I think different people with different experience of the game, as a player, as a caster, will come up with different things there. But I usually like to sort of point out ultimates a little bit more because they don't come up in the kill feed. Deaths do, you can see it. So I will point out an ultimate, but I will really try and follow it up with why the ultimate's being used, or what it adds, or maybe how it adds to the obstacle for the team that it's being used against. Again, it's what versus why. And we really want to, as casters, if we just say what is happening on the screen, audience members can already figure that out themselves, and we're not adding value. If you're saying why, then you actually use some of your insight as someone who's cast a bunch or played a bunch or whatever, and then you can actually add to the value of it. So that's only all I recommend. From an entertainment perspective, you can add value by being a good play-by-play commentator and have some jokes that you've used, and have some wit, and have some back and forth, have some interplay. That's all I'll say there.
Leo going off right there with the Zarya as everyone else is focused on the remainder of the team. And Northern Lights picks up 3 points.
Yeah, Leo there showing that, proving his dominance there of who's the better Zarya coming out from this team.
How does he prove his dominance? With the knock-up? Yeah, that's fine.
Northern Lights there at the end there, getting that 3K to push his team over that finish line. And great play here coming out from Northern Lights. They definitely need that type of play to win this map. Minute 43, very good time. Usually you could get, unless you roll, get around by like the 3-minute mark and stuff like that. But this is definitely a good amount of time that they have left.
So what I like about this is that you said it was a good time, and then you gave me, something to compare it to, or like you sort of, gave me a reference point for this time instead of just saying it was a good time. And I think in times like this, that's kind of all you really need to worry about. I think you've given me what I want there.
Left, and Samsung Blue has to really just bring it here on this last point. Looks like they're going to probably bring out this double sniper comp, so interesting to see that.
Yeah, the game plan might just be here to get some really quick picks. And like you said, Northern Lights, they posted, minute and 43, which...
So I don't mind that. It's very short. The game plan might be to get some early picks. So this is great because you don't have to go on forever about it, but you can tell us why they might want to go for a double sniper comp. Obviously, if you're talking about the attacking team's composition before they come out of the gates, it can be a death trap for you because they might just switch, and then you have to correct yourself, and that's not really fun. It's wasted airtime. Correcting yourself is wasted airtime, and the time you spent saying the wrong thing is also wasted. So...
Not the goal, but definitely, not ideal, but definitely still workable, right? So now Samsung Blue knows the bar that they've been set, or has been set, and they're going to try and look for a very quick, push to try and get like a solid amount of time over Northern Lights, and then likely kind of just like win the war of attrition in round 3 and round 4.
I dig that. You give me a projection of what you expect to see. Great for viewers who may not know what to expect to see.
Just using the time bank advantage they built for themselves. That might be the game plan going here for Samsung Morningstars Blue. Of course, it is easier said than done. Northern Lights might shut them down again. We've seen how effective Northern Lights...
I think you could have left off there. That might be the game plan for Samsung Morningstar Blue. This is fine. I think like a bit more back and forth would be nice.
Especially on like an escort portion of a map on playing defense, as we saw in Dorado. So... we might see more of that. Samsung Morningstars Blue definitely have their work cut out for them here. But they're going to see and give their attempt on offense. They do have to deal with the Riverboat, Hanzo, Kasperi on the Junkrat. So
Okay.
they're still, Northern Lights still loves running this, double DPS composition and no Brigitte. So, not entirely meta here, but Northern Lights loves playing their game.
This is a lot of Rapture, not a lot of Kenobi. Look, it's fine. I would like some I'd like some more back and forth discussing. To be honest with you, I like a little bit of back and forth. What's color casting? Color casting is analysis. It's the style of casting that focuses a little bit more on the why or the how. A little bit more of an academic take, more of an analytical approach to casting.
Yeah, they switch out the pharmacy because you usually don't see this pharmacy on the defensive end. It's usually just on attack on King's Row.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
That
I like this.
brought out this Junkrat, going to be able to
like it?
shell out a lot of damage here. The only unfortunate thing is it might be giving Dragonetti a lot of charge, which, as we've seen, Dragonetti very good in his own right as an off tank. So look out for that.
It's good. You kind of you don't really mention why you like the Junkrat here outside of doing tons of damage, which is maybe sufficient, but you also give me a little bit of extra value by explaining to me how it could backfire, which is nice. Because you cover your own ass without being too absolute about what you expect to happen, and then you give me like a counterpoint as to how this could work against them. I'm exceedingly pleased with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone you want to be watching out here for. And now going to push up. Going to be Sam.
Who's going to push up?
Some Morning Stars Blue.
Thank you.
Edging out outside the point, but again, Xrath gets on the board early. We've seen so much from the Zenyatta and continues to not let us.
So was that kill like long range? Was he on the higher ground? Are you able to tell what that is going on there? A little bit more information for each kill. Otherwise, you could just see a thing in the kill feed. You could just see like Hanzo kills Zai. It's like, and there's the Hanzo once again opening up. A lot of damage available. It's like, yeah, okay, but like, how did he get the kill? Was there anything relevant about that? Maybe there's not. Like, maybe there is just some kills where someone dies. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, someone just gets shot.
This down though. Dragonetti gets actually shut down by Riverboat, who sneaks in through the front desk of the hotel.
See, just like that. Like, remember when we used the hotel joke about a Hanzo being there and then didn't give us any context as to why he's there? Now we get it. Now we get it.
On the board early. We've seen so much from the Zenyatta and continues to not let us down though. Dragonetti gets actually shut down by Riverboat, who sneaks.
It gets actually shut down. That's probably fine, but
Riverboat.
Riverboat.
The front desk of the hotel.
So it's great. You tell us where he's going to get this kill, which is definitely much better than just reading the kill feed. So thumbs up for that as well.
Kaspir also getting rid of Luft on the concussion mine explosion, and then Xrath getting rid of Najani, who
little bit of a stutter there. I guess you called it the wrong thing. I don't mind the correction. That's fine, but you sort of trail off a little bit.
tried to also do a little bit of dealing with the flank and then get cut down too.
So another
okay,
thing
the
that's
throw
really good
timing
about
here
this
is fine.
Composition is how fast you can melt Ryan's shield. Luft went in there and lost shield almost immediately, and that's a.
Okay, great. This is really good. You talk about the shield pressure that this composition can have. I really like that too. I think you jump off your point kind of quickly here.
Huge stagger on line. They're probably not going to go in on this. They're going to have to wait.
Okay.
Their shield
it's still okay.
For this
and then you return to the point.
Absolutely huge.
And you also say that Line Pro gets taken down. They're not going to be able to follow up on that one. So.
Yeah, this is right now Northern Lights. This is almost what we, expected just a little bit here. They are holding on very strong on defense, and not only that, they have the Riptire. They can shut things down. They have a
refer to the ultimates.
No surprise there. That's about to be built up, but really, we're looking for that Dragon Surge combination, which isn't ready just yet. Here comes the Riptire from Casphere. Try to shut down this fight before it gets going and give River.
Great, like you're telling me what he's trying to do with the Riptire. Shut it down before it gets going. Fantastic.
And Leo just a little bit more time to build an ultimate charge. And there, Latex actually steals the kill, gets rid of Luft, and then Casphere kills Najani. So there, a nice 2-3 kills, a 6v3 situation, 5v3. But that's not enough to push this.
Cool, I'm getting a players 5v3 situation. There's not a lot of feedback on this part of the cast because I think it's really good.
Push the envelope for Samsung, or they're gonna fall back again.
And Najini and Line Pro were up in the high ground in that little archway there, and then Kasperi just walks in. Oh, I see a farm enclosed encountered room. Double mine. They're both gone out of that fight. So
cool. That's a good recap.
Definitely not a place you want to be if you're the side of Team Samsung Blue. Make this pharmacy work with just that infinite skybox. Just play those lines. It doesn't even matter. Riverboat's gonna kill him anyways.
Cool.
Yeah, you
good
hate
throw.
to see that kind of thing happen. Riverboat just paddling all the way to a kill there. Lion Pro forced to use the res. Get it right back. Here's the Dragon Surge. And there it is. Both teams using it. Both Dragons dueling. But it is Northern Lights that gets up ahead with 4 and 5 kills. They just had the stronger Dragon type there. And they hit for super damage and absolutely miraculous.
All right, so like you don't really tell me too much of what's going on in the fight. Like a little bit of like why, for example, Northern Lights come out on top there in that moment. We get a replay here, so I don't know if you refer to it or not.
Miraculous play that comes out for Northern Lights win.
So I have no idea what happened there. My only guess is that Kasperia was able to just shell out so much damage from that Junkrat onto the Graviton that was coming out there for the side of Team Northern Lights instead of the one that was coming from Samsung Blue. And
do I... Saying that you don't have any idea what happening there is not really a problem. I'd probably prefer that there's not a lot of... I try to avoid guessing too much. Or at least you can say pretty much the same thing, but by phrasing it somewhat differently, I suppose.
Is that Kasperia was able to just shell
for super damage and
see.
absolutely miraculous play that comes out for Northern Lights win.
So I have no
Yeah, I mean, it looks like
idea what happened there. My only
boosted
guess
Dragon
is
Strike.
that Kasperia was able to just shell out so much damage from that Junkrat onto the Graviton
Yeah,
that was coming
this
out
is
there
okay.
for the side of Team Northern Lights instead of the one that was coming from Samsung Blue, and was just able to kill everyone there. And unfortunately, there wasn't the same follow-up from Samsung Blue.
Yep.
So great play there, and that was like basically both mirror ultimates at the same exact time: Transcendence, Dragon Strike, and Graviton all at the same time.
Overwatch viewers, get ready because this is coming to your screens.
You know, that's the thing about
What's up, Danger Waffle?
They do super effective damage against one another, so you gotta expect that. Kasperia with the
Welcome
Riptire
back.
finds Dragon Eddy also going down. Dragon types finding their weaknesses here, getting a little...
Okay, so again, you try and follow up on the joke again. I would say just once is enough. Maybe you can do a callback to it like later on at the end of the map, but generally, like if you're going to use any sort of callback on a joke, as far as humor goes, try and make it later on. Give it a little bit more time to breathe.
Cold-shouldered. Kasperia with another kill onto Lion Pro. Definitely a big player out here. Gotta watch out for this Kasperia Junkrat. But then,
And yes, Lion Pro was rezzing, so no damage boost.
if you're worrying about the Junkrat, you gotta worry about the Hanzo too. Riverboat and Kasperia going off, trying to outdo each other with these kills. Northern Lights holding on stalwartly on defense.
Yeah, Kasperia's just putting everyone in a Pokeball right now on the side of Team Samsung Blue, just getting everyone. Doesn't matter who they're switching to on the
Okay, that's fine.
DPS side. He's just making sure they're all going down. Great job from
A little bit non-specific though is my only
in a
concern.
Pokeball right now on the side of Team Samsung Blue, just
So,
getting everyone. Doesn't
getting
matter
everyone-
who they're switching to on the offensive DPS side. He's just making
He's
sure
just killing
they're
him.
all going
It's a flowery
down.
way of just
Great
saying
job
he's
from
killing everybody,
Kasperia
right?
here.
A little
He's
bit
gonna try to
sparse on
finish off that Zarya in the next
context.
fight. He's going to be looking for another one.
And Dance does have the Transcendence. Oh, but gets cut down by Riverboat. They definitely needed that to go into this next fight. That's
Yes, great. Yes, they definitely needed this to go into the next fight. Beautiful.
huge. A big crucial loss there for Samsung Morningstar's Blue.
Yeah.
Just going to try and make the most of it going in with an Earthshire, but they're also low. And there's a Dragon Strike going right down their face. Though, nice big one, gets one kill. Najani, though, with the barrage, that was super clutch, and the Widowmaker plus the Farah. That's 4 kills for Najani. They're not done just yet. Samsung Morningstar's Blue get it just in time, and they've captured point A.
So it's not a bad team fight. Again, you sort of talk about Reinhardt's trying to go right in their face or something like that, which is kind of fine, but maybe be a little bit more specific. Like right there, you want to say that he's trying to get behind the barrier, right? This is what he's trying to do.
Luff's gonna try and make the most of it.
Trying to
going in
push
an
up
Earthshire,
with
but
he's trying to push up with his eye shield and get him behind the barrier, but with the Dragon Strike now he can't really do that. Plus his shield's about to get hammered.
also low, and there's a Dragon Strike going right
Dragon
down their face.
going right
Oh,
down
nice
their
big
face.
one, gets
Yeah.
one.
Whose face? I mean, yeah. That's not great. So the big Earth Shatter. Big Earth Shatter to start the fight, plus Barrage. Yeah, this is a sick way to win a fight, by the way.
Najani, though, with the barrage, that was super clutch, and the Widowmaker plus the Farah. That's 4 kills for Najani. They're not done just yet. Samsung Morningstar's Blue get it just in time, and they've captured point A.
So you're getting a little bit, you're gargling slightly here as well. Maybe because you don't have any more like headroom in terms of volume. Or pace or pitch. Your pitch, you know, you could change your pitch up a little bit there. You could try and like go a little bit higher on that. But getting gargly or getting to the top of your range and topping out is pretty bad. So you want to always try and give yourself a little bit of headroom there. That like they're gonna get the end of the fight. You know what I mean? Like when you're really just trying to squeeze it out. Also because of your diaphragm as well. A good way to avoid doing this is really just try and. I mean, I stand when I cast, so it's easily, but you really want to try and make sure that you're speaking from your diaphragm as much as you can and squeezing that. So you don't sort of get choked towards the end.
And finally, the ults start to come online for the side of Team Samsung Blue. They're able to get it done, and then and then they were just able to win that fight. Such a great fight on.
So they get it done, and they're able to win that fight.
The 11th hour, and Najini, who hadn't been playing this Pharah very well, ends up getting that huge barrage at the end there. Great play. Is going to switch back over to this loose.
This is a shame because this is an important fight, and you don't really break down the fight, unfortunately. I mean, there's not even that much to really add to it, but you can imagine that Northern Lights try and go for a bit of a more of a desperate Dragon Strike without a Graviton to follow it up there, and it's a massive Earth Shatter that really sets up the play, plus the barrage. You kind of just say, you're really non-specific about that. I mean, you don't actually talk about the elements that really contributed to a winning fight there. So you miss out on a really good opportunity to tell us why a team that had been struggling up until that point managed to make a big difference, and that was all down to the individual play of a couple of people.
Here. Interesting pick there. They're just going to keep with Big One on this solo DPS. So interesting to see what's going to come out from this.
Said interesting twice there. And saying interesting to see what's going to happen is something you want to avoid doing. Because, it will be interesting. It'll be really interesting. I'm interested to know what you think. Instead of that, it will be interesting. It's like it's a nothing burger of a word because people are watching because this shit is going to be interesting.
Team here.
Still not a ton of time here. Only 2 minutes. So
Bit of a weak pick up there.
This could definitely be held by Northern Lights. So it'll be up to Samsung to get an early advantage.
There's a Transcendence here.
Latex taking that opportunity first and doing so through an extra wrath Transcendence.
Cool.
Nice
Thank you.
heads up play there to give the team coverage and allow them to do work.
Yeah, nice. So another do work. It's kind of fine, but it's a good opportunity to talk about how Zenyatta Ultimates allow you to play more aggressively, and make much more use of the chokes.
Just going to do a little bit of spawn camping here on the side of Team Northern Lights, going to push their advantage the best they can, make sure they can eat off as much time off of this clock as possible. Luft is getting shelled right now by everyone on the other side. They can't even make it out of spawn Rapture. What is happening?
Oh, yes, great. And he used his name during the throw. You're asking him what's happening, so I probably would like, it might be a rhetorical question, but I would like an answer here.
I'm not sure if this is safe for work, this kind of action right now. Somehow they got to get their way out of spawn, and Northern Lights just saying no. And Leo is sitting on the Graviton, so literally the second they step out, they're going to get sucked up. They're going to get the big suck.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they can do.
Okay, you could do sucked up or the big suck. Pick one.
Deal with that. There's the rally coming out. Lion Pro trying to get things going here, forcing up on the front line, but he's super low already. And only has so much shielding left. Now Leo, super low. Lufton Big One, though, coming up.
Great little interjection there from you, Kenobi. Kasperi's down. Obviously, pretty important. Because there's no barrage.
Lion Pro trying to get things going here.
Get what going? What's he trying to get going?
Up on the front line, but he's super
trying to initiate. Is he trying to find a shield bash target? Is he trying to hit the enemy Reinhardt? So here's a Graviton.
Super low already. And only has so much shielding left. Now Leo, super low. Lufton.
Super low. You said super low twice, man. Like in a fight where tons of shit just happened.
There's the rally coming out. Lion Pro trying to get things going here, forcing up on the front line, but he's super low.
Low already.
Only has so much.
And he has so much shielding left. Now Leo, he's super low.
Big one though, coming up big ones, and dance.
You're trying very hard to use some wordplay here, which I personally could appreciate a lot. But you're having to repeat. Like I think it's almost like you come up with the wordplay after you say the word or the phrase that would have used the words, right? So, and then what you're doing, you're repeating it. You're kind of half repeating yourself. You just sort of insert the wordplay in there. So you're shoehorning it in there, right? It's super obvious. Either be quick enough to get the wordplay in immediately, or don't do it.
Forcing up on the front line, but he's super low already. And only has so much shielding left. Now Leo, super low. Lufton Big One though, coming up big ones. And dance also with Line.
No, don't do it.
Pro there, bolstering that back line. So just like that, Northern Lights gets wiped immediately, and that payload gets going.
Yeah, Kasperi went down there, could have, tried to counter the Graviton the best he could, but was able to go down on that first point. The Graviton.
How would he counter it? I mean, I think he tried to barrage in that fight, but he sort of died. Did he try an ult inside a barrage? I don't know.
Is gone.
So yeah, more of a breakdown of how this fight. I don't know how much of it you saw based on what camera view you're on, but if you're a color caster and an analyst caster, try and be on that free cam view so you can really see everything.
Immediately, and that payload gets going.
Yeah, because Sperry went down.
Sperry went down.
You know, tried to counter.
Could have tried to counter the grab. Yeah,
Yeah,
how do you counter the grab as Zaya? Like, you mean like trying to flank and get a barrage to stop them being able to follow up, perhaps? Something a little bit more specific.
On that first point, the Graviton is gone, but Dance does still have his Transcendence for this
Cool.
Dragon Strike combo
Yes.
that's going to be coming out in this next fight most likely. But this is last fight territory here for them, Rapture. They need to really just pull this
If your brain is telling you I'm being mean, you're being soft.
gone, but Dance does still have his Transcendence for this Dragon Strike combo that's going to be coming out in this next fight most likely. But this is last fight territory here for them, Rapture.
Yeah,
They need
last
to
fight
really just
territory.
pull this one.
Great. So like you're reminding us of like the stakes, right? You're reiterating the stakes. Like, oh right, crap! Like there's not much time left in the round. It has to be here. So this is a great way of giving the audience a reason to watch, getting them to focus, getting them to sort of maybe pay a little bit more attention than they would have otherwise. Give the audience a reason to watch.
One through with a very, very heavy ult disadvantage.
Great, and you mentioned ult
Fluff
disadvantage, so
and
I love this. I love this. You really do a good job of making sure the stakes are highlighted, and also give a little bit of a balance bar as opposed to like what teams you expect to do better or worse here. I really am happy with that.
They're the only ones on here, but we could get that Dance Sentence here with the Earth Shatter, but they got to make something happen through the...
Great, Dance Sentence. So you didn't have to say Dance Transcendence, the Dance Sentence. You just say Dance Sentence. Perfect. That's how you want to try and get those one-liners in.
This one through with a very, very heavy ult disadvantage.
Yeah, it's Luft and Dance. They're the only ones on here, but we could get that Dance Sentence here with the Earth Shatter, but they got to make something happen through the Dragon Surge combination. And Riverboat and Cast.
So Earth Shatter missed.
Down. Luft unable to get most off that Earth Shatter, but he does block the Latex Earth Shatter.
Yep, good.
Luft has to fall back, though. They don't want to use and waste up that much time, but no, Dance and Luft both get staggered there.
They're getting
Unfortunate.
staggered.
Now, 15 seconds remaining here, Kenobi.
Yeah, we have a replay as we're going to see, this Graviton Surge come out, but they need to really go. They are not close to this payload. Najini's going to try and run the best he can. 6 seconds left to get onto the payload. It's just
Good.
Lucio.
Give me
He
that.
goes
Give me
down,
that intensity.
and that's probably
That's
going
it.
to be it. Northern Lights is going to tie this
Cool.
one up, Rapture. We're going to game 5.
good.
We're going to a game 5,
good.
baby. We're going to a
I like it.
tiebreaker here. Don't let that screen fool you. We're going to a map 5. Northern Lights.
Let me
bringing
go.
it
Yeah,
back
that's good.
in
Maybe one more time. We'll look at that fight. Yeah. So I guess there's a replay. I'm not sure if you see the replay or not. You maybe don't. You don't have to acknowledge it if you don't see it. You could just sort of, if you're aware there's a replay happening, don't cast anything specifically. There's actually a pip here. So look at that pip. Look at that spicy replay. I already praised this one enough. So I like it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we have a replay.
We have a replay. We're going to see,
come out.
this Graviton Surge
They are not
come
close
out.
to this payload.
Yeah, maybe don't. Maybe just sort of stay on live here.
Najini's going to try and run the best he can.
Try and run the best he
6 seconds left
can.
to get onto the payload. It's just a Lucio. He goes down, and that's probably going to be it. Northern Lights is going to tie this.
If you have like third-person view, instead of having probably going to be it, just hit me with that's it. If you could be sure, then like just be convicted, I suppose, about the end of the round, right?
One up, Rapture. We're going to game 5.
We're
I'm going to do a bit of the next
game
game as
5,
well,
baby.
because there's a lot of stuff here. It's all generally good though. I will skip the conversation between you guys. I'll assume that that's sort of fairly solid.
All right, I think
breather.
we need to see. Ilios has some really nice breezes, so I think that's what we
Yeah.
need right now—a nice cooling breeze. But
Mm-hmm.
both of these teams are
Probably not, because it's probably hot as balls down there in Greece.
on fire right now. Going into Ilios, 2-2. Northern Lights went into this set perfectly, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
Yeah.
Samsung Morningstars Blue said, "Nah, son, we're taking 2 maps off you, possibly 3." Samsung Morningstars Blue, a team that might, one of the stronger teams in here. They fought through some really strong sets against the likes.
In here, maybe just try and reiterate the tournament. Yeah, like in Overwatch Open EU.
At one point, the likes of Augments and Authority, and now both teams have worked their way to map 5.
It's good.
of
I like this
winners
as an
finals
intro.
here for playoffs, Open Division, Season 2 EU.
All the good
And
stuff.
both these teams
Yep.
want to walk away.
Technically, like I assume, Rapture, you have some background of casting for a fair while, because you're like in a technical sense, like the little things that we sort of talk about hitting as a play-by-play caster, or as like the guy who's sort of hosting, you sort of nail these pretty well. So I'm quite happy with that.
Right here with the
It's quite far to see that you're fairly well sort of developed in a lot of those a lot of the basic stuff. So
win. And honestly, who could blame them? Because these teams have fought so hard. To come out of this with a loss would be definitely devastating. But
yeah, and I kind of like that as well. That's fine. Like, give us a little bit of a human element.
nonetheless, what an amazing set between these two. It all comes down to Ilios. We're going to Ruins for our first one. And yeah, we see some slight adjustments from both of these teams here. We
What kind of
do have
adjustments?
Samsung Morningstar Blue. They are in the red again. So they're well, they're in red, but whatever. At least we know that.
I want to know about the adjustments the teams made.
So that's good.
Unfortunately, yeah, you get confused here, which is kind of fine. I get it. I get it. It's kind of messy, right? With the names and the colors and stuff being kind of messed up.
Slight adjustments from both of these teams here. We do have Samsung Morningstar Blue. They are in the red again. So they're they're in red, but whatever. At least we know that. So that's good. Northern Lights is in the blue. They're gonna be pushing up here with again that slightly modified dive, going with the Junkrat and Hanzo.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you give it to me, like you say, like with a slightly modified dive. So you're talking a little bit about that adjustment.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried for
You're
the
worried.
Team Northern Lights here that they do not have a Widow, because the big one is going to be able to farm very safely in the backline here unless Riverboat catch him. And Riverboat is doing a good job of winning the ground game so far. Not worried about anything, any Widow. He's going to be the carry this game. Riverboat getting that 3K.
Good. Nice job.
This is no surprise from these players. Latex also not going to be outdone. Gets rid of Line Pro. So there we go. First
my head is hurting with how hard I'm focusing.
capture going the way of the Northern Lights.
You slowed down a little bit. I actually don't mind the slow down, but it sounds a little bit uncertain.
Latex also not going to be outdone. Gets rid of Line Pro. So there we go. First capture going the way of the Northern Lights.
Yeah, so yeah, just you obviously want to try and be tighter on that one. Going the way of Northern Lights instead of the slight stutter there.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see. Riverboat does have this
What's interesting to see?
Dragaton, not Dragaton.
Dragaton!
Dragon Strike.
Dragaton, I love that.
Dragaton,
Love
maybe
that.
that's what we'll call the other one. But he has this Dragon Strike. We'll see if he's going to use it to zone or if he's going to try and get a couple of picks here.
I'm not going to critique you on a slip that happens, right? It was kind of funny that Dragaton's actually a good term to use.
Maybe just stall slightly. Looks like that's what he's going to do. It's not going to catch anyone. And Riverboat's just going to play Vanilla Hanzo. Why use the Dragon Strike when you can just shoot someone in the head with an arrow?
So I want some of that cookies and cream Hanzo, Vanilla's good. Maybe vanilla bean Hanzo. I'm about that one. Dance throws down the Transcendence, but Exarath and Latex will just wait it out. Get some kills there, and there's a big boop.
I think that's a situation where you can joke and you're not missing too much action,
Looks
right?
like that's what he's going to do. It's not going to catch anyone. And Riverboat's
It's funny. I like that.
Why use the Dragon Strike?
FGC commentators are so good with that stuff.
So I want some of that cookies and cream Hanzo, Vanilla's good. Maybe vanilla bean Hanzo. I'm about that one. Dance throws down the Transcendence, but Exarath and Latex will just wait it out.
So you don't really miss any of the fight, and we get a nice little joke. So I'll give you that.
Get some kills there, and there's a big boop, and yeah, there you go. See you later, Dance. You're gonna go down there for the count. So Northern Lights still holding strong here at 45, and I gotta say the Dragaton. I love that because you guys love to say the Galactic Dragon, which
So this is cool. I think you discuss the use of this term or the fact that you like it, but as long as we don't lose the analysis from this fight or the breakdown.
Dragon Surge, that's
Dragaton.
but Dragaton.
Yeah,
Dragaton.
Okay, we got it.
Sounds like a Norwegian metal band, like super North Norwegian metal band.
No, a mistake turns into something great, as we're gonna be calling it.
I mean, those are the best things that have been created by mistake. Penicillin. You're right up there with penicillin.
Oh yeah, I like to be right next to penicillin.
That's what I think of. When I think of Dragaton, I think of penicillin.
So we don't get analysis on that fight, but there's value there because it's a funny discussion, and I personally appreciate the penicillin comparison. And you guys seem to be very good at holding a conversation. So.
But here we go. Riptire, Graviton also being thrown down here. It's a very deep Dragaton, Graviton surge, but Guess Spear is the one who comes out on top.
Yeah, but then you stuff up.
When I think of Dragaton, I think of penicillin. But here we go. Riptire, Graviton also being thrown down here. It's a very deep...
No, so you said Graviton. I think you said Graviton, right? It's a very deep what?
Dragaton, Graviton surge, but Guess Spear is the one who comes out on top. Gets two with the Riptire. And the kill feed here going entirely for Northern Lights. They have come for blood, and right now they're lapping it up. They're at 80%.
It's good.
Yeah, I think that might have been just a Kobe Graviton at the end there. Just they were gonna switch. Didn't really get anyone. Only got Latex on the Winston there. Had to pop Primal, but Zekor
I
still
consider this to be
had it for
sufficient analysis.
the entire map
And then you talk about Valkyrie, which is good.
Just the
What about it
ultimate
though?
for Northern Lights just outclassing that of Samsung MS.
Okay.
Ooh, Dragon Strike coming right in, but it really only goes towards spawn, and that.
Cast is good. This meta, it's so ass, dude. So ass. It's just the same shit.
Doesn't do much to dissuade this other team. Even throw. They're
Ooh, dissuade. Man after my own heart.
gonna throw down their own Dragon Strike. Not gonna find anyone either. There's a self-destruct from above, and again another failure there. Leo though gets a D-neck on.
Yeah, be careful to speak too soon about self-destructs getting D-mechs because obviously they're quite delayed.
Dragon Eddy, so at least it was worth something. As Dragon Eddy gets cut down by Riverboat on the outside of it. Out overtime, tick it away here. Northern Lights, they are just dominating the skies right now and the ground. Leo gets 2, Latex gets 1. Northern Lights, there it is. First round, they are 1 round away from taking winners finals here, Kenobi.
Yeah, 1 round away, and they definitely have the momentum. There's just the way they ended that last map on Kings Row, the way that they've been playing the first part of Ilios here on Ruins, just absolutely stellar play coming out from them all around.
Why?
And we're going to be going to Weld for our
Did
second
I miss
map.
it? I might have missed why. I might have missed why it was stellar play, I suppose. Hold on. Let's go back a bit.
They ended that last map on Kings Row, the way that they've been playing the first part of Ilios here on Ruins, just absolutely stellar play coming out from them all around. And we're going to be going to Weld for our second map.
That's fine.
Look out,
You don't have to give me analysis for everything, right? I'm just sort of highlighting opportunities where you could add more.
For this ball and chain combo, some boofs are going to happen. Kasperi is going to probably go back over to the Pharah, as Pharah Mercy on this map is absolutely...
Why?
We'll see. Will this play in Samsung?
Why?
Stars Blue favor here. Can they pull off the little bit of a?
Yeah, man, I like it. Can they pull off the reverse sweep or the comeback or whatever it was you tried to say? You miss a lot of. You obviously missed the chance to really be punchy and slick and tidy as a caster when you sort of stutter a little bit here.
Roadhog 08 and Samsung Morningstar Blues.
I do it too, by the way. It's not great though. It's not really like you kind of want to try and be a little bit more polished sometimes with your delivery.
Morningstar's Blue favor.
Without being like a stick in the mud.
Here, can they pull off the
Hero 28 as Ramus?
The little bit of a Roadhog 08 Ursa combination here. We'll see. I was coming up with a cool name for their combo, but it was not appropriate, so I didn't say it.
I can appreciate that you explain why you're kind of not taking yourself too seriously. So, it makes you more enjoyable to listen to. It makes you more personable if you're trying to say you're trying to come up with something. Yeah, that's fine.
It's all good. Northern Lights are going to keep going with their standard kind of divers, but they're actually running the Ursa Roadhog too. So yeah, neither team sticking with Winston Diva. They know it's at stake here. They can't risk it.
Yeah,
and
great.
They probably know that they're a bridge.
It's a good succinct way of telling us why they don't want to take risks, or telling us that they're not taking risks.
Might be coming out, but neither team using it, so not have to worry about that. There's a hook though, and the first hook gets whiffed. The second one doesn't, as Dragon Eddy does get rid of Riverboat, but Exarath gets the revenge, and then Line Pro is able to res Dragon Eddy. So there's a slight advantage. Dragon Eddy gets pulled over the corner.
That's a good chance for you to say like, okay, so it's a 5v6 in favor of whatever. When there's resurrects and stuff like that and kills and you're sort of casting it, try and reiterate the number of players that are up. Do a little bit of quick maths. Quick maths.
Corner of the hole, but it's not enough to kill him. Latex though gets booped off by Najini, gets a concussive blast off, but the rest of the team's getting put down. Riverboat also finds Big One, and they're able to steal away the point from out under the noses of Samsung Morningstar Blue. Northern Lights takes the first capture.
So unless one of the Pharahs can kill each other in the air battle, this map will be down to the ground battle most likely. Who can get the hooks, who can get the environmental kills, and so far it looks like a better job as of right now. Leo has had a couple of...
So I mostly agree with that. You probably want to talk about as well who can pressure these Orisa shields down a little bit more. But I love that. You say, if the Pharahs can't kill each other, it comes down to the ground battle. So now you're giving people flags of things to watch. Like, where should I be casting my eyes in a lot of these fights? What should I really be paying more attention to?
Good hooks. Najini did get a boop there, but it just wasn't enough. So Samsung here has to just play a little bit better on...
Oh, you're always going to tell me something to look for, specifically, which would have been good.
The ground game.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
good point.
What they need to do, but they also got to worry about this. They got to worry about keeping Najini alive, and unfortunately, Kaspir will cut him down. But Najini does get 2 off that barrage, so that's definitely...
Just be careful with using things like unfortunately. I use it all the time. Some people tend to think that just because you say that something unfortunately happens, it means that you're biased towards a team. instead of you just wanting to see what will happen and it not getting to happen because that person dies. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
The leverage that the Samsung Morningstar blue team needs to continue on to the point, but Riverboat is able to get res here as Kaspir gets the kill into Line Pro, so no mercy for Samsung, and they have to worry about Riverboat. But they actually got to worry about X-Rat. That's the Omni you got to put your sights on there. Another kill onto Luff. Absolutely X factor here. Leo also gets rid of Dragonity, and Northern Lights are making it look easy. They definitely have their sights on this win, and now they're 40% away from taking the game, the map, the set, and everything else.
Northern Lights is hot.
Yeah, I mean, I get called. To be honest, like a lot of Overwatch viewers are like really quick to call you biased. So like, if you give them any reason to do so, then they're just gonna fucking go for it. I get it. We get it all the time. All of us get it. People care more about their teams and the game itself.
And Northern Lights are making it look easy.
Which is whatever.
They definitely have their sights on this win, and now they're 40% away from taking the game, the map. The
Cool.
set,
All right. Again, so you're like reiterate
Northern
this,
Lights
the
is
progress. So
hungry.
I like this. Lately, I've been trying to do a little bit more of saying it's 62-0, you know, or like reading out the capture percentage. Half of it is just to get people looking back up there if they're not. The other half is also for people that are listening on audio, which is not something that you should cater to entirely, but kind of good just to throw in the score a little bit more every now and then during the round. It keeps people sort of up to date and keeps them looking towards a score line. It also allows you to remind them of if this next fight is going to be big.
For those Blizzard bucks that they're going to be getting if they win this map. Absolutely stellar play coming out from them. And they have a 5-pack of ultimates right now. Not quite a 6-pack. Need to go to the gym just a little bit more. Have those 5.
Throw back to the gym joke. Again, it's the second time it's sort of been fleshed out a bit. You sort of explained it. Maybe next broadcast you bring it up again. It's all right, though.
5 ultimates for this next push. No ultimates for the side of Team Samsung. They had to switch to a more divey comp here. Only have the Transcendence and the Dragon Strike to deal with.
Yeah, the late switch might hurt them in the end here. You're right. Very little Transcendence to work with. Very little ultimates to work with. It's just a Transcendence and this Dragon Strike. Kaspir, though, barraging Luft as the Dragon Strike comes out from Riverboat, and now it's entirely Northern Lights on the point.
Yes.
A slight trade
Cool.
here with Leo
You say
going
they've got
down for
control of the
Dragon
point.
For the Roadhog means they have one less tank on the board.
Slight stutter, not a big deal.
Onto the point here, as Line Pro does get the res on the big one. We'll see. Can they get there in time? Samsung does slingshot.
You ask a question? Great.
Way up onto the point. Here's Northern Lights trying to melt them down in time. Line Pro skedaddling over with the monkey. Luff still stays alive, but Riverboat gets 2. The Spear fighting Luff, that could be it. Northern Lights is dominating the point. Riverboat for 3. He's going up.
He's got 4.
Overkill. Oh my God, he's going off, and Riverboat does it himself. Gets 5 and gets winners finals. Northern Lights will take it 3-2, and they've gotten their ticket to grand finals. Congrats to them.
Right. So, honestly, okay. So I'll say this. Usually, VOD reviews take me a little bit longer because I sort of have a lot more to say in general. But I actually don't have a ton more feedback for you guys outside of this. I'll put it this way. If I was put next to either of you two guys and told that I had to cast, I wouldn't actually be too worried. I think you guys are very, very good at what you do. And a lot of my feedback is going to be a little bit more nitpicky, a little bit more... It might seem harsher, some of the criticism, but you should consider that as a sign of my regard, because I think you guys are a really good duo. I think the play-by-play here is the best so far that I've heard coming out of broadcast.gg casters. So that's really good. Don't let it go to your head. Obviously, there's we've all got room to improve, but I'm really happy with it. I think that I really enjoy your back and forth. So yeah, that's great. Kenobi, I think you did a good job as well. I think your analysis is great. I think sometimes you can find slightly more eloquent ways to put it, more elegant, and maybe you could just sort of shorten the amount of time it takes you to explain some things. But generally speaking, I'm quite happy with this. It started a little bit rough on King's Road, to be honest. I think time and place is definitely something for you guys to try and be mindful of, and when it's sort of appropriate to sort of go for the jokes. The jokes are good, definitely overused. Some of them you had to explain, or you sort of, again, you repeated a phrase, this time including the wordplay of the joke that you wanted to make, which, in my opinion, is almost as bad as explaining a joke to someone, right? It's just, don't do it. But it's quite clear that, you guys have a good understanding of the game. Your casting is very good. I would personally like to see, not that I have any power in this, by the way. I do sort of give recommendations about casters, but I would like to see you guys have, opportunities like contenders moving forward. I think you guys, in time, I think you're very, very close to sort of being at that standard, in my opinion. Keep putting in the work, but I'm quite happy about this in general. Yeah. It's just about the polish, right? I think that's definitely something to work on, is really just trying to polish them, avoid the stuttering, try and, use your dynamic range a little bit more. Obviously, Kenobi for you is get a mic that's not attached to your headset, or get a good headset mic. Outside of that, you guys should be commended, and I think you are on a very good trajectory.